No, that's not. That could be true. I really don't know how it's designed. I know there won't. I guess there won't be no 300-pound linemen out there and stuff like that. And no need for them, right? I don't know. Um, but I'm interested in knowing if there's like a professional flag football league outside of America where people have been playing this game for a long time. I'm kind of interested in that. I was highly disappointed when United States didn't win 3-on-3 basketball gold medals in the Olympics in the past Olympics. So um, let's talk some football though, Miguel. Olympics are over. I didn't. Did you watch any of the Olympics? Very little.
Very little.
It didn't have. I don't know. It didn't have the pizzazz, right? It
Well,
just didn't have the feel. I don't know. It didn't feel the same.
I think too, and I don't know if it was because of when everything just fell this year, but it feels like b- the opening ceremonies wasn't it the first week of the Super Bowl?
Hmm. It was 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So
So it
yeah,
started
so it's very. Yeah, you might be right. I think it did kind of. I think they were very close. I feel like it was the week after the Super Bowl, or that weekend after the Super Bowl, I believe.
right. So yeah, it kind of like I want to say kind of messed it up
Oh, no,
as
no.
far as
When was
like
the Super Bowl?
attention.
Was the Super Bowl the eighth or the first?
Eighth.
So okay, the weekend after the Super Bowl, I think you know what I think it started the couple days before the Super Bowl, maybe. I
That's what
don't
I'm
know.
saying.
I
That
don't know.
weekend, I
But
thought.
yeah, but but yeah, I see where you're going with it. Like there was attention here was more Super Bowl, even though the Super Bowl was not a big exciting one for us outside of Seattle, New England. Um, but yeah, there was a lot. You're right. There was a lot of things going on. Anyway, that's enough Olympic talk. Let's talk about the NFL. Let's talk about the Birds. Let's talk about the Eagles. All right, let's do that. Um, the AJ Brown saga is continuing into the off season, Miguel. Um, but it's not even him. Like I want to say, when was the snow? Like Monday. I want to say what's today? So Monday night, I saw a post by AJ Brown. Apparently, maybe there was I don't know, someone that lost their life or maybe tried to take their life or something like that. I think they're a football player or something like that. And
It
he,
was the NFL player. It was the NFL player that lost his life.
gotcha. So, and he was making comments. Yeah, he was responding. He was making comments to that. I don't know, Miguel, if you could tell, but your connection is a little. It's kind of weird. The camera was kind of jumpy.
No.
I'm going to definitely
How
grab
about
that, make
now?
a character. It's happening randomly, so it's not really like it just happened just now. I'm just letting you know,
All right,
just in case something happens.
cool.
But anyway, um, the SOC has gone into the off season. They're at the combine now, and they're being asked about AJ Brown and is he going to be traded and all like that. And Coach Nick Sirianni was asked about it, and he said he can't guarantee that AJ Brown is going to be on the roster at the beginning of the season because he can't. He can't guarantee. He's not the general manager. He can't guarantee anything. And that was my thought of when I heard the comment. It was like, no, 'cause yeah, you're right. He can't guarantee that because he doesn't have control over that. That's not what he was hired to do, and he probably won't be hired to do that anywhere. How did you feel? Did you feel on that side, or did you feel um as like some of the fans were talking about? How did you feel when you heard about that?
uh, so I think sometimes a short answer is the simple answer to go. Like it's like he answers questions like he's trying not to answer the question. You know what I mean? Um,
That sounds pretty accurate.
but it's like sometimes saying less is saying enough. A simple I love AJ Brown and I look forward to having him this upcoming season, but that's not my call, kind of sort of thing, or even shorter than that. You know, it's not my call, but as of right now, he's on the roster. Something basic like that. But he always seems to like he's too wordy. He's clunky with his words. I guess is the thing.
That's a I like that description. I like that description. But I wanna
He's
tackle something that you said though.
okay.
If you can still hear me, you can still
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
me.
Hmm.
Okay, because you're frozen. But he I don't think he can say. I mean, he could, and probably, and people already know it. But I don't think he can say it's not my your back. It's not my decision, or it's not my. You know what I mean? Because he don't have control over it.
Right.
And I mean, everybody knows he doesn't have control over it. But if he says it, now he's putting it squarely on the shoulders of Howie.
I think Sirianni is in a bad spot, and this actually started the year before they won the Super Bowl,
Talking about the collapse year.
the collapse year, because that year went so horribly. Traditionally, it's the head coach that gets the axe, and he didn't. He was the only one that needed to get the axe, but then everyone else, they either replaced or reshifted or hired. So then it was like, well, what the hell does he do? So every time he talks like a really like he talks like a new general manager at like Costco's or something. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to impress, or he's trying to give us the confidence that he is the head coach when everybody else around him knows that he's literally just a body.
Mm.
And the real head coaches are the coaches around him. You know what I mean? Like
So I mean, a lot of people share that sentiment. But I remember a comment from like a player that I'm trying to remember who it is on the fly. I believe it was a defensive player before the Fangio days
mhm,
that he said that he's never been in an organization that was so like it I wish I could remember who said it and what exactly he said, but he kind of made it sound like Nick Sirianni was kind of almost taught him how to really look at film and how to really study the game and know the game.
mhm.
Um,
And you said it was a defensive.
Player saying that he said he's never been part of an organization that really takes that kind of detail with
Mhm,
game planning and stuff like that. Um, so I mean, like when players say positive things about him, and then
mhm,
it turn around in the media and it's like, who is this guy? Like he's some kind of joke or something.
mhm.
Who do we listen to? Who is the fan supposed to listen? The other fans that's not in the building, or we listening to the players that may or may not be pulling our leg? I mean,
Which
I
is
don't,
which I still think AJ's doing. By the way, I think AJ made a decision a couple years ago, and he said that he's going to troll the Philly media for his entire time here. I really, really believe that. But anyway, um,
it makes radio hell of annoying. Tell you that.
no, it doesn't. It makes listening to radio hella
Yeah.
annoying. But as
Well,
far as
well,
like
like that after that first or second day, when you get into Wednesday and Thursday, and you're still talking about a Friday, Saturday.
right,
eh, Come on.
but not for nothing. With him trolling the media the way that he does, I don't blame the fans at all. It's the media because you know, I, I- to for them to be it's like they're almost purposely like picking everything that AJ Brown is saying or doing, even when he's not really saying anything.
Mm.
And the fact that they're constantly finding, they're literally digging and finding things to bash Jalen Hurts about. And again, this is the only quarterback in Eagles history that's not only gone to one Super Bowl, but he's the only Eagles quarterback to ever go to multiple Super Bowls. You know what I mean? And he still gets completely trashed the year after he wins and stuff like that. So it's like the ebb and flow, whatever, whatever. But
So
um
just the and I feel like it's where you're going, but so is Sirianni.
I mean, but Siri, he's just so annoying. I want to punch him. Like when I meet him, if I ever meet him, I just like I feel like he's gonna want us. He wants to start a fight over like Pellegrino water. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's that type of dude. You know what I mean? I can't explain it. Well, I always said he always has like that Jersey kind of like what are you looking at kind of thing, and he always it's like he tries to be tough driving his father's like Honda Accord. You know what I mean? Like
I I I hear what you're trying to say.
I just
I can't say I 100% agree with you, but like, I hear what you're trying to say. Like that's your personal opinion. I get it.
yeah, it's a personal
Um,
thing. But to go back, you asked, who are we supposed to listen to? I mean,
who- who-
it ultimately is the head coach. Because even Howie and whatever, unless they're talking about signings and dealings or anything like that, it all goes back to the head coach. So,
all of it. You're
yep.
absolutely right.
Which is why I thought he was going to get fired the first time. Then he won the Super Bowl. I will say this: at least he's consistently annoying, and he hasn't. It isn't more or less annoying. He's just the same. So I'll give him that. Um, but
Slow blink. You gave the grandma nod.
my mama always taught me, you know, if you can't say something nice, then say it in front of your friends.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Um, Real quick note, kind of alluded to it earlier. But I didn't see any of this, so I need you to tell me about this, Miguel.
Mhm.
ESPN, you put this in there. ESPN taking heat over disgraceful era, running Rondell Moore's tribute following Vikings wide receiver's tragic death. What happened?
So the issue was apparently whoever their clerk was that gets the images together. Rondell wore number 4. Okay. I believe he was injured on the IR and put on the practice squad. So there was another player that came in that also had the number 4. So when they announced the death of the player, they posted the wrong number 4. They posted the picture of the 4 that was
Yeah.
before, right? So, huh?
Like without the helmet on,
So let's see let me see if I can find that image. Because I don't even
or
remember.
was it like number 4 on the field doing something? Well,
No, it was
basically, what you're
number
saying is they put the
4.
wrong player up.
It was the wrong player up there, and I think it was obvious. Um, and it's kind of so yeah, it was okay. So I found it. So it's a picture of him with his helmet off,
Mm.
on the field with the number 4, and it has Rondell Moore 2000 to 2026, but it's the wrong player.
Wow. That is unfortunate, being that's the team he played for. Um,
Right.
the crazy thing is being in the business of that does that type of stuff, I can see how that can happen. It shouldn't happen. Don't
Mhm.
get me wrong. It should not happen. But I can see how that can happen because it's not necessarily like basketball or baseball. You're seeing these people's faces all the time, right?
Mhm.
If this is somebody that you are not familiar with, and you need to be familiar with him if this is your job to do what this is, you're looking for number four because you know this person is number four, boom, boom, boom. If you're not cognizant, or if it's not in the front of your mind that there were two number fours this year, you're bound to make that mistake. And I'm curious to know that if were these pictures sent to this person, or did this person have to go out and find these pictures? Because how many pictures did you look at, being that there were two people to wear number four during the season? And how many
But you
photos did you go through?
they
How many?
probably looked at a roster, but I'm thinking so if I'm on this if I'm on the team, right? What's the first thing that I do? I do a Google search for the player, Rondale Moore.
That might probably would be one of the first things you should do.
The first four pictures is Rondale Moore with helmet and without helmet. Even when he went to Purdue, it has those pictures. Even when he's on the practice squad, it has those pictures. And those pictures all look the same. So obviously, this person decided to just look. He wore the number four. So, matter of fact, the picture that they used, I have to scroll down four times to find that picture,
Mm, 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 mm.
and it only
This,
appears once out of I don't know. These are like maybe I want to say what 20, 30 pictures before I get to the incorrect one.
mm,
So it could be he probably got the assignment. He's like, well, ESPN won't air this until the morning. I'll do it 10 minutes before air. And it's like, oh, damn. Number four on the Vikings, right? Okay, number four on the Vikings. There he is. Bam. That's that's the only way it could have happened. Like I
yeah.
said, I just did a Google search. The first 40 pictures are of Rondale Moore. And I got to scroll three times before I even see the picture that they actually used.
That's a tough one. That's a tough. I wonder if that person possibly lost their employment, or got demoted or something like that. I wonder, because that's big. That looks bad on the organization. Like that's when firings happen, when stuff looks bad on the company, on the organization. Um, Rest in peace to Rondell Moore, man. You know that's
And
tough.
say what you want about AJ Brown. Um, because I believe he did like a 9 or 10 minute post
Yes, he did. I was
about
watching.
about mental health, and he was urging players that because this is the second death in 2 years. Remember the Dallas Cowboy player?
Not even two.
Not even two. It was right. It was beginning of
He,
the.
he died during the season.
You're right. You're right.
Not even a year. Not even a whole year.
Right. It kind of speaks to a growing trend, not just in sports, but just all the way around. Um, really being able to deal with the mental health, um, and really taking that serious. Like, okay, look, let's find help, even if it's at this point, even if it's medicinal. Like, if you need medical help, like you can't poo poo it. And I've told you in private, and I don't mind sharing it publicly, but you know, I I have a therapist. I've had a therapist for 5 or 6 years now, and I was dealing with some anxiety and some depression, and there's an antidepressant that is very minimal to my body, but it helps. You know what I mean? It helps get people through. It helps get me, through some some issues. So it's like there's no shame to it. It helps keep you balanced, and but it's like we gotta, have that open dialogue about it and stop like playing the tough macho role. And being in ministry for like 10 or 15 years, there's certain things you pray for everything, but even biblically you can rely on doctors for certain things. You know what I mean? So it's like we just got to talk about it more.
Absolutely. And it's very serious subject, mental health. And I know in the minority community, it's looked at as a weakness. You know what I mean? And it really shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. I don't know if it was this show or one of my other shows. I don't I don't even call it a mental health coach. Like if you have, I call it a mental strength coach, because I feel like there's a little bit of a stigma behind the phrase mental health. Um, and when you talk about being stronger in something, that has a little less of a stigma. So I like to say a mental strength coach, a mental strength advocate. Um, but I think everyone could benefit. But I know in the minority community, it's so looked down upon. Um, especially, want to be careful how I say this. Especially the older generations, older than us, right? Some people have gone to get their mental strength coaches and gotten their assistant, whatever the case may be. But there are a lot that look at him like I'm not doing that. I don't need no help. I'm fine. I think people think as long as they're not out there in the street, I want to be careful the way I almost I feel like if as long as people feel like they're not like out on the street doing crazy things,
Hmm.
you know what I mean. I just want to be careful saying that word crazy. I hate saying that word, but doing things that are not typical of being outside.
You can say harmful activities. I don't know.
I'm not even harmful activity. I'm talking about like, okay, when riding around in the area where I used to live and where I worked, I every day I would pass a gentleman out on the street, who was sitting on the wall, peaceful man, not bothering anybody, but he would have these loud conversations with himself, laughing at stuff, getting mad at stuff, like very loud conversation. And first couple times, like, yo, this dude on the phone all the time, but then I realized he's not on the phone, you know. And I feel like when people feel like if they're not out in that capacity, out in the streets in that capacity doing stuff, then they're fine. And in a lot of cases, that's not the case. Like people have a lot of trauma that they've um, kept inside, and sometimes you gotta let that stuff out. You gotta talk to people. All right, and we get off topic sometimes here on the Check Swing podcast, and this is slightly off topic because we're talking about Rondell Moore and his passing, but the mental health conversation is very serious, and getting help for your mental strength is, I think, vital. I've considered seeing a therapist. I actually attempted to get a therapist. Things didn't go well. I didn't try again, but one day I will. One day I will. I guarantee you. And when I say it didn't go well, just I forgot what happened, but it was during the pandemic. Like it just didn't work out well.
Are you one of those like? Are you really judgy of the process or the person?
No, because this was my first time going through. I had no idea what to expect,
Gotcha.
and everything was actually over the phone. So I think I like searched something and like had a bunch of numbers going. I was like, all right, I'll pick this one, and I called, and she was asking me a bunch of questions. Like I didn't, I, I felt like we might have been having a session right there and then, but I guess she was kind of just asking me questions to see where I was, see, whatever. Um, and for whatever reason, we just never reconnected. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. It was the pandemic. I used to work overnight. Didn't get a lot of sleep. I don't remember what happened. Okay. Um, let's move on. This one actually makes my butt itch, Miguel. Um, this one makes my butt itch. NFL moles allowing replay officials to throw flags. So I don't like it at all. At all. I don't like it. I understand what they're trying to do. I don't like it. I'll explain why I don't like it if you want me to, but Miguel, how do you feel about this?
So in the article that I read, Troy Vincent, who's the NFL executive vice president of football operations, um, is kind of like on the break too. He you're opening Pandora's box, which is what he was kind of getting at. We believe that things like the non-football act, you can really restrict what that is, which is what he said, and I quote. That's something that we believe that potentially there's a little bit of tweaking in the language that may be the first step. I think it might be an overreach because the way the replay officials work now is they'll call down and say, "Hey, time out real quick, measure the spot of the football," or "Hey, time out. Let's see if the ball broke the plane." For instant replay, that's really what they're used for to say, "Hey, let's replay this." Da 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 da. Um, But to be able to stop the game and say, "Hey, there's a flag on that play," after the fact, and I think it kind of leads into like the robo conversation. Like, I get that the officials need help because of the speed of the game, all that stuff. But sometimes that's just better training.
Mhm.
It could just be better training or more repetitions in those situations. Um, but I think, yeah, I think it's a little overreach, and it may potentially slow the game down, even though there's really no way it should slow it down. But I mean, you might as well just not have the referees on the field for all that.
And that's where we're getting to with a lot of these sports. Yeah, what's the point of having just have a whole bunch of cameras and a whole bunch of referees on the side?
But you
Because
see
the
why
replay
that's
would be
it's like if you're gonna keep the human element, humans make mistakes.
Mhm.
It's just a common theme. But do referees really decide the games, even in the calls that they blow? One or two games here and there, I think, but I think overall, it's how the team reacts to it. Um, like I always look back at baseball old World Series games, but in 1985, Game 6 of the World Series, there was a play, ground ball to the first baseman. The pitcher comes over and covers. It's a really quick play. Umpire calls him safe. And on television, in normal speed, it was a close play. When it was replayed and slowed down, he was out by 3 feet. Okay,
3 feet.
like it was sad because the umpire was right on top of it, and he still called him safe. But
But you said it looked like he was safe on TV as well.
it looked closer in real time than it did on the replay
Okay.
because the pitcher had to kind of go back like this to catch the ball, but his foot was on the bag the entire time. So
Mhm.
the umpire calls him safe, Don Denkinger, right? So it was 1-0 St. Louis Cardinals. Kansas City comes back to win 2-1, takes it to game 7, right? But when you look at that whole inning, there was a foul ball that was dropped. There was a bunt that was misplaced. So there's 2 outs right there, even with that out, right? So the next night, that umpire is the home plate umpire. So of course he's catching crap from the Cardinals, whatever. The Cardinals actually got blown out 11-0 in that game 7. It was the biggest blowout in the game 7. But in one of the innings, there was a pitcher that was really like frustrated and hot headed, and they knew what they were doing. He got mad at a pitch that was an obvious ball, and then he charged after the umpire. Then all the Cardinals players are coming after him. The manager gets ejected, but it was all because of that one call that caused all the ruckus. But if you look at everything overall, they still could have won the game. They just lost their focus and lost their ish because of the bad call.
Mm.
And then how they responded in game 7, probably one of the most embarrassing game 7s or World Series games I've ever seen.
Even more embarrassing than getting no hit.
Yeah.
Mm.
Even more embarrassing than that because you're literally focusing all of your anger on the umpire, not on the fact that in all 7 games, I believe they hit 130. They only hit 1 home run so they didn't do their job. It was a surprise that they were up 3-2, let alone got it to game 7. But they didn't hit at all. They were strictly speed, pitching, and defense. But if you can't get on base, then you can't run. So, but they didn't hit. That was really the whole thing. So,
well, as far as replay officials throwing flags, being able to throw flags, I was having a debate with a friend of mine last night, and we were talking about robo umps. And we were talking. Actually, no, I'm sorry. We were talking about challenges. That's what we were talking about. Challenges. And I was making my point that I feel like teams should be able to challenge as many times as they want until they get 2 wrong. Once they get 2 wrong, it's a wrap. Or you should get, or maybe I should say it like this because that's a lot. You get 2 challenges, but after your first challenge, if you get a challenge wrong, you're done. Does that make sense? Did I say that in a way that makes sense?
So here's I want to post this video. Now this video is about like a minute and a half, but this was an exchange in spring training of how this is going to kind of flow. You see the video in there?
Yeah, I see it. I'm letting you finish because I think I
So
want to.
I got you. So this is a whole sequence of this particular umpire in this game. It's Pittsburgh and I think either Boston or St. Louis. I cut off the thing. The responses on a couple of them are actually kind of funny. So the whole premise is if a pitch is called in somebody's favor, the opposing person could just tap their helmet and the umpire says the called ball or the called strike is challenged. The screen pops up on the jumbotrons and it's just as simple, it's either in or it's out. And then they keep it moving. But with this particular umpire, it happened 4 times or 5 times. So go ahead, buddy.
Another veteran move. Oh, yeah, we'll have a review here. Our first ABS challenge of the day.
Call the field is a ball. The catcher is challenging.
There it is, catcher challenging the ball call. The ABS review powered by T-Mobile. We will take a look, and it is a strike. So the catcher was right, and that one kind of right down the middle.
Yeah.
Gets the called strike on the inside, and Contreras wants an ABS review, so we will get a challenge.
Call the field is a strike. The batter is challenging.
We get the look, and that's a ball.
There you go. Oh, yeah, he's right.
You've missed 2, and one was right down the middle, and one was 2 inches outside, and now you're like, all right, I'm having a bad day, and everybody knows it. StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud. Gave up
Call the field is a ball. The catcher is challenging.
Was the call. And it is another successful challenge. 2-1 pitch here from Harrington.
Call in the field is a ball. The catcher is challenging.
And it is a strike, so a successful overturned call. Contreras here with 2 on and 2 out. Takes called strike. Struck out back.
Call in the field is a strike. The batter is challenging.
They make the challenge. They
Call is overturned. Boston retains their challenge.
The ball is indeed the call overturned. Boston keeps the challenge. Missing there, it's a ball, but they will challenge.
Call in the field is a ball. The catcher is challenging. The call is confirmed. Pittsburgh has 1 challenge remaining.
The crowd gets the cheer. Oh, the Fenway faithful are undefeated even here.
So to go back to what I was saying about the debate, and I'm going to work this video in as well. His debate to me was that replays or challenges would slow the game down, and we were discussing basketball. We were discussing the NBA. And I agree with him that it would slow it down. I also said that they need to get the call right. But I also said that you get 2 challenges. But once you get one wrong after that first one, you're done. You're done. And it seemed like that in that video, teams they retained their challenges when they were correct. I don't think you should get penalized for getting a challenge correct. For winning a challenge, you kind of get penalized because you lose your challenges now. But so in the game, so that I don't feel like that slows the game down.
It doesn't.
In baseball, but it does. It does slow the game down slightly. But when you look at a video like that, it feels like it slows it down a lot more. Because what pitchers have 14 seconds or something like that to get themselves together and get into their delivery.
I think originally it was 14, and then I think they gave them an extra 2 seconds because they bitched and complained about time.
So they kind of, in a sense, they sped the game up by doing that, but now kind of took it back a step with the challenge. And I'm cool. I'm all right with y'all know. I'm all right with the challenges. I'm cool with it. I think they should be able to challenge because the umpires have been so terrible. But when you're talking about allowing replay officials in the NFL to throw flags, come on, man. Like it can't be, oh, everybody else missed something, but I saw something on the screen. Let me throw this flag. Nah, man. No, because you're not part of the game. Oh, sorry, you are part of the game, but you're not a seen part of the game until we got to go to the replay. You're not a visual part of the game. Stop. We don't need that person to be part of the game. Let that person be designated to watch the replay and say this happened, that happened. You talking about Big Brother now. You talking about Big Brother now. I remember Kobe Bryant, an interview with him. His Mamba mentality and all like that. He would talk about how he not only studied his opponents, he studied referees. He studied the referee book. So he would know where the referees were supposed to be positioned. So he could know what he can get away with and where, based on where the referees would be positioned on the basketball floor. That letting a replay official throw a flag, that takes that completely out of the equation. Because Big Brother watches everything. Now, is this replay official going to be? Are they going to have all the camera angles? You know what I mean? Are they going to have one? Are they going to be subjected to the camera angle that we see in the game? It's too much. Forget about an NFL. Don't even do that. Don't mess your game up more than you've already messed it up. And of course, you mess it up for the health of people. But I'm just saying, don't mess your game up more than you've already messed it up.
So that should the focus be, because the issue, none of this would be an issue if you didn't have an Angel Hernandez or a Joe West. If you didn't have those atrocious officials or umpires. Is the focus then on umpire training for better quality, or like what should it be then? Because you know they did find.
So my question to you would be I would answer that question by asking a question to try to get to another answer.
James Harden.
Are there circumstances, or no, are there not circumstances, but are there consequences for these umpires making these atrocious calls?
So if you're looking at the Angel Hernandez case, remember I think there was one playoffs where I think he yeah, I think you could see the home plate umpire was visibly frustrated. Whoever the crew chief was, it was a game in New York with the Yankees, and I think he got like 6 plays wrong, and each one
Hernandez
was
did, or the plate.
Angel Hernandez because
Okay.
he was the first base umpire, and he there was like 6 plays from both sides. All of the plays were wrong, and I think after like the last two, the umpire was just like safe, and then went right to home plate because he was so frustrated. Um, After that, he wasn't allowed to do any playoff games. That's why he sued Major League Baseball because he sued him for racism. Because right. Listen, I'm all for making sure that we are, suing for the right reasons, but when you're obviously garbage at your job, I'm sorry. I guess we're racist against people that are just garbage at their job.
I'm not gonna go where I could go with that
I know,
because
but
we don't have that much time.
right, but unfortunately, you have the camera, which doesn't lie,
Mhm.
um, and that's where all right, let's talk retirement. Let's talk, because technically he retired, but you never hear of an umpire retiring in mid June.
Right.
So he got a nice severance. Toodaloo.
Let's move on to the Green Bay Packers have I guess re-enlisted or are re upping on their policy of for season ticket holders that they are not allowed to sell their tickets to more than 2 games. If they sell their tickets to more than 2 games in the season, they will lose their season ticket privileges. Um, you're shaking your head, Miguel. How do you feel about that? What's your thoughts on it?
It's my ticket. I can do whatever the hell I want with it. Like you got your money. So and I saw this happening when StubHub started doing this, right, or allowing this to happen. It's the game, like you give me my tickets. You gave me it for face value, whatever the price is, maybe a little discount because I'm a season ticket holder. But if I can't make the games, why can't I make my profit off of it? You're going to make money on the concessions either way, right? So it just reeks of greed. Um, I and I
So,
Yeah,
you know what, man? I felt the same way you did when I first heard about the story. Like, it's my tickets, I can sell them if I want to. But then I found out that yeah, the ticket itself might belong to you, but well, the paper and stuff might be yours now. But actually, the ticket is still the property of the team because it's in their building and in their seat. That is still their property.
but
So
you sold me a
they
lease.
huh?
You sold me
They sold you entrance
right an entrance to a
and
seat.
guaranteed you a seat.
Right, unless the ticket itself says non-transferable, which to my knowledge it doesn't.
From what I was reading today, the seat, the ticket is still property of the franchise. It's not property of the buyers. And I thought of my on my own thought of this example. Okay. You buy, well, guess you don't do it anymore, but when you were your teenage years or your 20s, you buy a CD, right? That CD itself belongs to you. The plastic and all that belongs to you, but the property, the music doesn't belong to you. Even though you paid for the music, it doesn't belong to you. And then it's illegal for
Well,
you to copy the CD and sell it to somebody. Even though you bought the CD, now the CD is yours. The intellectual property is not.
right, but you're not selling you're not selling intellectual property. You're not selling copyrighted songs. You're selling a seat to watch something. That's two totally different
But
things.
it's not your seat to sell, is what they're saying. It's not your seat to sell. It's their seat to sell. Now they've sold it to you. They've sold it to you. Now, what I believe you can do is sell it back to them and they can resell it.
That's what they want you to do.
That's what they want you to do. That's what they want. That's what they would like you to do. But selling it on the resale market, because what they're claiming is they want to keep Green Bay fans in Lambeau, as opposed to having Philly come and take over, as opposed to having the Raiders fans come and take over, whoever the Bears fan, whoever
Hey,
the case.
I got a wonderful idea to prevent that from happening.
What's that?
Don't suck. That's, I
In
mean,
the playoffs, if you're in the playoffs,
yeah, but all right, flip it to the Eagles. How many times have in the playoffs, regular season games, have the opposing teams completely overtaken our stadium
Eagles,
for the Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field?
I don't think ever.
The only time that would happen, if it were to happen, would be when they suck, right?
But then they wouldn't be in the playoffs.
How about that? Eagles aren't complaining about it because they're selling their seats, they're selling out, and they're in the playoffs, and they've gone to the Super Bowl twice in the last 5 years, so they don't suck. That's how you solve that
Packers
problem.
been in the playoffs the last couple of years, at least.
Say again?
Packers been in the playoffs the last couple of years, at least.
Right. So I don't know what the problem is, other than them simply wanting more money.
But see, here's the thing: I don't feel like it's them wanting more money because they only sell the ticket once. If they buy it back from you, they sell it back at the same price. Like I don't feel like they're making a profit off of that. But I do believe that they probably. Well, here's
You're selling
here's
the same ticket. You're selling the
here's
same
one
seat
thing I
twice.
didn't say that I think is a big part of this. The waiting list for Packers season tickets is there's over 100,000 names on the waiting list.
Mm-hmm.
Over 100,000 names. To put that in perspective, the Eagles are like 20, 30,000 names.
Yeah, I don't. I think the only way around that is that you cap it. Like you can only have season tickets for like 5 years, and you have to get put back into the pool. That's the only other. I don't see any other way because of demand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you just say
die and pass them down to their family members and all like that. And they just
right.
stays in the family
So it's
forever.
20 years before you can ever get a seat at the stadium. So I think the only way around that is you cap it at like maybe 5, maybe 7 years. Non-transferable. You can't make it transferable unless it's within the family. Maybe do a blood transfusion, blood transfer, but only within that 7 years.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. I'm sure people that have had in their family for generations wouldn't like, but I don't think that's a bad idea.
Right, because I don't see any other way of.
I mean, we're talking about fairness. I mean, life ain't fair, but
Right.
It is what it is. We'll have to keep an eye on that. because that's interesting because a lot of people make their money doing that. But anyway,
Right.
real quick, we've been this time been flying. Miguel, I'm gonna let you tell us about Justin Crawford and his start to the spring. With almost, but go ahead.
Yeah, first couple first couple games, he's already got a couple of highlights. Got a I think he went 2 for 3 the other day. Got a really solid almost home run. He was like 5 feet short of a home run. Off of a lefty, which is a big deal. It's always a big deal to me when a lefty can hit against a lefty. But even more so, the fact that he started out 0-2 and extended the at bat by 6 pitches, and he was batting in the leadoff spot. I'm like, this is your old school kind of traditional leadoff hitter. You know what I mean? Good table setting so far, anyway. I mean, it's only been maybe like 3 games. Played good defense. So he's off to, a pretty solid start. He looks like he belongs. I'll say that.
Okay,
Um,
happy to hear that. They need a brother out there on the field.
how about, well,
Say it. They need a brother
yeah,
out there.
you're right.
They had a brother out there in a minute.
You're right. You're
Not-
right.
Taiwan don't count because he's a pitcher, so he don't really count.
And he's half Mexican.
Yeah, that too.
He's pitching for Mexico in the WBC next week.
Is he?
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I'll keep my comments to myself.
Yes.
The Bryce Harper thing
Yeah, so Bryce Harper was on WIP radio,
yesterday.
and he gave a pessimistic response in regards to being able to start the 2027 season on time. He flat out said, no, there's probably he doesn't think that it's going to happen. So what's happening now is the collective bargaining agreement of Major League Baseball ends December 1st of this year. There's already been talk, and it looks like a strong will from the owners and the higher ups to install a salary cap in baseball. And I believe Harper's part of one of the player representatives and stuff like that. They all said a salary cap is an end of discussion. There's no bargaining if that's going to be on the table. Flat out. So it could potentially speak of a lockout, which the last time there was a lockout, I think it was the last CBA, but it only lasted like 2 weeks. But this is going to last. Say again?
Is that 05? Is that the 05 lockout?
I want to say so. Yeah, that one. Well, there was one more recent than that, but I think that one kind of went into spring training. It didn't cancel a whole bunch of games. Man.
I think the
But
one close now was the 2-week one.
right, but this could kind of they're talking about the owners are putting they're digging in the sand, and it's like we will not resume Major League Baseball without a salary cap. I don't know. I think after the 94-95 strike, I always kind of sided with the players from the standpoint of, owners make the bread of the money that comes in, they don't make money off of the team itself. They make it off of like the concessions and, parking and things like that. But it's still money that to be made, But seeing how football has worked out, and football kind of has the parity that they wanted, where you don't necessarily have the dynasties anymore. I think what really messed all this up was the Dodgers and the Ohtani deal and this recent deal with was it Kyle Tucker that they got or
Kyle Tucker.
So the crazy thing is they had them. I read something about the Kyle Tucker deal, right? He's only slated to make about $1 million, which is the same thing with Otani. But they gave him a signing bonus of $30 million. So the signing bonus doesn't get taxed the same as your regular salary. So that's how they got around that.
Mm.
Um,
If you know
as,
ways to get around, you get around it.
but it's because of the high taxes in California. It was the reason why Harper didn't sign with LA or San Francisco, because he was close to signing with San Francisco, but they would have had to pay him, I think, $50 million more just to be able for him to afford the yearly salary and not get taxed.
Hmm.
So he was like, I will either go to Las Vegas or I'll go to Arizona or Philly, and he chose Philly. So I just don't see. And so what's supposed to happen is there's a threshold in baseball, right? Like you can't go over what's called a luxury tax, the luxury threshold. So if let's say like the regular payroll for a Major League Baseball team is like 180 million for all your players. If you go over that threshold, I believe if you go over like $10 million, then you have to pay like a 10% tax, and then if you go over 20 million, then you got to pay a $20 million or 20% tax, and so on and so forth. But like the Dodgers, two-time world champions, they're making money. So they're like, screw it. Let's get all the players that we want. We'll pay the tax. We can afford the tax. So it starts becoming like that competitive imbalance that they don't really want anymore.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I'm thinking a salary cap maybe to keep things balanced and have your parity that the NFL does. You know,
I don't know if I like the salary cap in baseball. I mean, we got the salary cap in other sports, and it's fine.
Mhm.
Um, but we've had them for a while, right? Baseball, I kind of like the super teams and seeing lesser teams try to beat the super team. Like I kind of like that David versus Goliath thing. One of the World Series that I loved watching was the Marlins Yankees World Series. I think it was 01 or 02, something like that.
Oh, four.
The Juan
Yeah.
Pierre Marlins, the Juan Pierre, AJ Burnett, I think was on that
And
team.
Pudge was the catcher.
Pudge was on that team.
That was for
No,
final.
was Pudge on that team or the first team?
He was on one of the two teams. Charles Johnson was the catcher on the first one,
And Darren Dalton. You're right.
and Darren Dalton at that point couldn't catch anymore, so he's playing first base.
Benito Santiago.
Benito Santiago.
But yeah, because it was. I'm trying to think of their ace that year. I can't think of who the ace was that year.
Oh, it was
Can't think of who it was. I can't think of it was. I think he was like a rookie or a second year at the time too.
it wasn't
He
AJ Burnett.
ended up playing for the Red Sox. But anyway, it really don't matter. That was one of my favorite ones to watch because the Yankees at the time, of course, everybody knows that knows baseball, were they had the biggest payroll in baseball and consistently. Their owner at the time, George Steinbrenner, was not shy with paying out the money to get the best players he could to bring a championship to the Bronx. And then you had
Josh
this
Beckett.
Josh Beckett. That's what it was, Josh Beckett. Thank you. Then you had this young upcoming Marlins team that did it with small ball, and great pitching. And man, that was fun to watch. That World Series was just fun to watch. 'Cause they did it with small ball. It was fun to watch. It was different. You don't see it at that level, especially in the World Series. Um, I guess we kind of touched on this earlier. Do you like robo umps? I'm not looking to have robo umps in all four places. I'm not. I'm okay with the challenge system. I'm cool with that and having regular umpires. Miguel?
I don't like it, but the umpire, it has to get better.
Mm.
And I think this is the punishment for not allowing themselves to be better.
I think I feel like robo umps and eliminating regular umpires will make the game feel unnatural.
Hmm.
And I think baseball struggles enough since '94, since the strike in '94, whatever it was. Baseball has struggled, right, to keep a fan base. The steroid era saved baseball. That's probably the only reason they haven't suffered the fate of hockey. Hockey used to be on all the main channels, and now you see hockey on like TLC or something like that. You know, um, I think the steroid era is the only reason baseball is still on these channels. But they go to robo umps, and they go to a salary cap, and they go to whatever else. 10 years, people ain't gonna watch baseball no more. They're not gonna do it.
Though,
Um,
like they said that people said that like 10 years ago too. So I don't know.
People ain't watching. We're watching, but baseball has trouble bringing in the casual fan. We're not. You and I are not casual fans. They have trouble bringing in the casual fan.
Right, but here's the thing. I think what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing a lot more true baseball fans. You know what I mean? I don't know that you like when you say a casual fan. You to when I hear you bringing in a casual fan, it's just saying somebody that doesn't like sports or your sport. We
No,
need them to buy
uh,
concession.
I'm
Not
when
you
I say
personally, just
casual
in general.
fan, when I say casual, I'm more so I'm kind of in that place, but it's more so somebody that is not necessarily a baseball fan, but we'll watch a game or some of a game or be interested in some highlights or something like that. That's your casual for the person that they're not really interested in a specific team to do well or anything like that. And I'm not talking about your people that are Phillies fans because they're in Philadelphia. I'm talking about your people that are not really invested
Mhm.
in any team and in the sport at all, but will watch a game here or there. I think Major League has trouble attracting those people and keeping them and maybe elevating them to an actual like a real fan, authentic fan. Um, basketball and in the same in turn, basketball is losing. NBA is losing fans
Mhm.
because of the way the game has changed. Right. So I think that basketball right now, but the thing is, their product I think can attract the casual fan to stay more so than baseball, just because of the excitement of the game of basketball. You got Steph Curry shooting from his bedroom. You know what I mean? You got people that can jump out the gym. In baseball, you kind of got to get lucky to catch somebody hit a home run if you're a casual fan. If you're not sitting there watching the whole game like you and I might be doing. It's like watching soccer. I'm a casual soccer fan. I was not even a casual soccer fan before I started working soccer games for TV. Now I can watch because I understand it better, and I understand that it's not going to be a bunch of scoring, but I understand when things are pressure filled moments. So I can watch certain things. I can watch a soccer match, and I'm a casual soccer fan, but I can watch a whole soccer match. Um, real quick, Sixers. No, Sixers have won back-to-back games. Shout out to them. Embiid and Maxey combined for 59 points last night against Indiana, who has the worst record in the Eastern Conference, but last year were the Eastern Conference champions. So that's a terrible feeling for your team to have gone to the finals and then you come back the next year and you're like terrible. That's like the Eagles when they played the Patriots the first time in the Super Bowl and lost. Came back the next year, everybody was hurt and everything was terrible. It was just awful. Couldn't even watch. I have a random question for everybody out there, but really for you, Miguel, because we're not going to have time for hear everybody's answer. And something I was thinking about today, and it's not even sports related. Okay.
Mhm.
A little bit of potty humor. So be ready for that. When was it determined that using the bathroom, what number one was and what number two is? Like, when was it determined? Like, this is number one and this is number two. And follow up question to that is, when did you learn what was what? Because I don't remember anybody telling me like this is number one and this is number two. Like, I don't remember that. But how did that get determined? Like, this is one and this is two. Do you have an answer for me? Because I mean, I'll move on because it's getting late.
My only response to that would be what?
All right,
So I think
as I've stated on 10-7 show many times, I grew up an only child, and I spend a lot of time in my vehicle by myself driving to and from work. Luna. So I have a lot of time to think about things.
only thing I could think of is that when you're doing number one, it's because you're standing straight up.
Only men.
Hmm.
we can reconvene. We can circle back.
It's the P stream.
Huh?
The P stream because it's on the straight. No, I got nothing.
We can circle back. We could Google it. We could ask Siri or something like that.
Why we circle? Okay, go ahead.
We don't have to circle back, but if you have an answer, we'll circle back to it next week. You are stumping me today, but you got a couple videos for us to watch.
Yeah, these first couple ones are gonna hurt. So buyer beware. As a coach, this first video, I'm warning the people on the on deck circle. Watch your lips.
Dude, when is Southwest? Oh! Holy shit.
Now, if you remember, Miguel, well, we did coach at MSI together. I wouldn't stand out unless it was the opposite. I would not stand outside of the dugout. I was always in the dugout.
I know, and there was a couple times you stood right behind me. Thank you very much.
I did. You're right. I did. There's a couple times I was in your way with you trying to get out the way too.
Right.
I did not stand out. And people that do it, hey, more power to y'all, man. I don't trust it. I don't like it. You got another one?
So this next one, if you're young, this kid is 14 years old, and you don't know how to lift.
Oh, gee.
Ask somebody, please. Good.
Get out.
So I'm interested in. There was a lot of kabooms on that.
So it was them taking the thing off of him and then each plate falling.
Oh, okay.
It was 420 pounds. I don't know too many 14 years.
It looked like the way it fell looked like he had no shot of even. He had no shot.
I don't.
He had no shot.
He had none.
Is that all for the videos today? Well, you got another one?
Yeah, this one. If you really can't pitch,
oh geez,
stop trying to.
Okay.
I'm still on throw, but no accuracy.
Oh. Yeah, I saw that one coming.
Damn.
I definitely saw that one coming.
Now this, I'll show one more. This one isn't. It's kind of a cool thing, but I have. Let me see which one. All right, I got two more because the last one's gonna freak you out. But
Okay.
um,
Come on now.
quiet. Don't rush me. Okay, here we go.
You got the people waiting.
I know. All right,
Here we go. Just go ahead and okay.
go for it. Oh yeah.
这一棒来到左半边，哇！这是一个美技手背，跳在全垒打墙上，哇！关键的手背啊，也帮助主攻少年守下了这个满垒的局面，所以呢，双方要进入延长赛了。
So what just happened there was the kid actually saved a walk-off grand slam, and his team won.
So I was gonna say I'm not impressed.
It's T-ball.
Let me get to it. I was gonna say I'm not impressed, but I'm impressed that happened in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like, and I don't. It looked like it looked like it was in an Asian country. I don't know if it was like Japan or Korea or China or the Philippines. I don't know. But I'm just going to go ahead and assume it was Japan. I'm just going to assume that. All right? Call me what you want. I'm going to assume it was Japan. And if you've ever seen Japan play in the Little League World Series, you already know that they that doggone good at T-ball. They've already learned how to play in T-ball, so I'm not impressed. It's not like American T-ball where they doing cartwheels and whatnot and tackling each other trying to get the ball. No. They are already well aware of situations and all that stuff in T-ball in Japan.
Is that the reason why they have announcers at T-ball?
Gotta be. Miguel, think about this. Think about this, right? And I want everybody that's watching to think about this.
Whew.
They had a fence. They had an outfield wall for T-ball. An outfield wall. Now, I know times are different. When I played T-ball, there was no outfield wall. You just hit the ball and you go as far as you just go. Actually, funny story. When I played T-ball, I think my dad was a coach or whatever the case. My dad was a coach, but he had like the rules, right? And I remember looking at the rules and picking them up and seeing that when you hit the ball, you can only run the first. Runner has to stop at first base. T-ball, runner has to stop at first base. Apparently, I smashed this ball, right? Probably like that kid just hit just now, right? And apparently my dad was like telling me to run, and I just stopped at first base. And he asked me why did I stop? Hey, because the rules said you had to stop. Like, I read the rules. I probably could have had a home run in T-ball. Right. Like, I probably could have been that kid. But I stopped. I ran at first base and stopped. Boom, that's it. I'm done. I'll tell you a little bit more to that story after we're off air. A little prequel to that story. Gotcha. But yeah, so that was the case. You had one more video, you said, right?
All right, so the last one here, I want to know. So what's going to happen here is rookie pitcher or second-year pitcher, Jacob Mazeroski, is going to attempt to throw a fastball and hit the apple that's on the coach's head or the player's head at home plate. I'll ask my question. So two questions. Was it AI? And if it wasn't AI, would you take that chance?
Second question first, hell to the no. I don't care who's throwing the ball. I don't care if you got Nolan Ryan out there. Hell to the no. I'm not doing no, no, no. You no. You can't. No, no, no. Are you? Tell me you're that crazy.
No.
Exactly. I ain't taking that. No.
Let me. And you know what? You see this right here? These are my life insurance papers. They're not filled out yet. I'm going to fill them out first if I'm going to do it.
You probably would. You probably would void your life insurance if you did. If they found out you did something like that.
No, 'cause all they ask if I smoke, drink, or have cancer.
Yeah, but if they found out you died like that, they probably say, you know what? That was just dumb. That was dumb enough to void the whole policy, the whole $16 million policy that you had. 16 million.
16 million.
Yeah, when I saw that video, I couldn't believe it. No, not at all. Not at all. So Miguel is stumping me today, y'all. I know I didn't think we were going to get an hour out of the show, and we've gotten well over an hour. I don't know how we did it because we talk too much. We just be talking. I talk too much. But Miguel is going to be stumping me or trying to stump me, attempting to stump me today. I think I'm 2 weeks in a row. I got it right. So I'm going for my third week in a row here. I feel like I'm going for my fourth, but maybe I'm going for my third. And this part of the show where Miguel gives me has me select or guess a player that he selects randomly. The player always has some ties to Philadelphia, whether it be baseball, football, basketball, or hockey. And he gives some accolades and jersey numbers they may have wore for other teams and all like that. And I got a guess of who he is thinking of. So, without further ado, we have a two-time All-Star. Okay. A two-time All-Star that played for the Mets, the Royals, the Nationals, the Phillies, the Padres, the Yankees, and the Yankees. How close was I? I know I got Phillies right.
2 out of 3, 2 out of 6 is not bad. You'd be a major leaguer. Mets. All right, so he did that stupid thing, right? Multiple numbers on one team. Yeah,
gotcha. Mets.
So I'll do this in chronological order: Mets, Royals, Cardinals, Phillies, Tigers, and the Anaheim Angels.
All right, now you said Mets, Royals, Cardinals, Phillies. Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
Those last two on the bottom are Anaheim Angels?
Yeah, for some reason. So that's when I think they changed their jerseys to like that dark blue.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Okay. I never liked those jerseys, but yeah.
It was only for like a couple years. Yeah. Mets, Royals, Cardinals, Phillies. Who'd you say it was, Pod? Who'd you say it was?
Tigers and Anaheim.
Tigers. Are you able to give me the position? Because this is actually before I ask the position, can you give me the time frame of the career?
Late 80s until 2000.
Mets, Royals, Cardinals, Phillies, Tigers. And what were the last ones again?
Tigers and Anaheim.
The Angels. Phillies, Tigers, Angels. Retired or finished playing in 2000, two-time All-Star. Was he All-Star with the Phillies?
No.
Who was the All-Star with?
St. Louis.
Both times. position did he play?
He started out as second baseman, wound up playing first base and left field for the latter part of his career.
You said first and left later on. That was first and left. Is that what you said?
Hmm.
Was he a first baseman with the Phillies?
Yes, and left fielder, but primarily first base.
So from the 80s to 2000, first baseman for the Phillies, left fielders for the Phillies. I'm trying to think who played left field. I'm blanking on a lot. Jim Eisenreich?
No.
I'm blanking on a lot of. I'm blanking. I'm really blanking on Phillies. Oh, you know what? Oh, I don't have the chat open. Okay, let me make sure. I don't have that. I'm blanking right now. Left field for the Angels. First base for the Angels. 2000. See, none of these teams were ever good. It looks like none of the teams were ever good when he played for them. Because you look, Mets maybe in the 80s. Royals. You said what was the time frame of the career?
So I'll give you the years. He played from 1987 to 2000.
87 and 2000. So Mets were halfway, pretty decent, late 80s, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
Royals were not.
Mhm.
Cardinals were not.
Mhm.
Phillies had that 1 year.
Right.
Tigers were not. And the Angels were not.
Correct.
So you give me a person that played for these old teams. Yes, I muted myself. And it was a two-time All-Star. Like, was he like a deserving All-Star, or was he a generic All-Star? But I mean, like, was he an All-Star for the team because everybody has to have an All-Star?
Both years were career years, and they were in back-to-back years. So I can't give you that clue because then I think you're gonna.
That's tough because, like, in that time frame, the Phillies had a lot of outfielders.
Right, but he came to us as a first baseman.
There was Greg. You already had Greg Jeffries.
No, I didn't.
Is Greg Jeffries? Must be Greg Jeffries because you ain't said no yet. I feel like you had Greg Jeffries, man.
Mm-mm.
It might have been a couple years ago, but I feel like you had Greg Jeffries on there.
Mm-mm. He wasn't on the list.
It's probably before you started keeping track. I'm almost certain you had Greg Jeffries on there once. I know we've talked about it, so maybe it's just that we've talked about him on the show. But all right, well, Greg Jeffries. Do I get credit for that?
I mean, it was so anticlimactic, but yeah.
It was. It was.
You're like, well, it can't be Greg Jeffries. I'm like, but it is.
And it's because I thought you already. And I thought for whatever I thought Greg Jeffries was a right fielder for us. I don't know why.
No, I was at the game that he allegedly broke his thumb because he hit a triple and he slid.
Story on this show before. Go ahead.
Right, he slid. So yeah, he slid head first. When he didn't have to, it should have been a stand-up triple, and then found out like 5 years after the fact that he actually tore the ligaments in his thumb because he was playing Game Boy for like 6 straight hours.
Yeah, man. We had Greg Jeffries before because you told that story that last time we had him.
I'm trying to remember.
It was a long time ago. It was before I moved. This was when I was still living at the old house. It was a long time ago. I mean, let's put it this way. It was long enough ago that it was okay to have him on there again.
Okay.
Because ain't like I remembered. I don't even know what that did here. All right. Any last word?
For those struggling with mental health, keep your head up and don't be fearful to ask for help. Help is out there. Just say the word. And if you're not in a situation where you can speak up, there's somebody out there you can talk to. I promise.
To piggyback on what Miguel said, if you're out there and you see somebody that's seeking help for mental health, then either help them or get out the way. Don't be a hindrance to them. Don't make fun of them or whatever the case may be. Um, in this world, we've kind of been. Never mind. I'm not even going to go there. Just don't get in their way when they try to get their mental health taken care of, their mental strength taken care of. All right. Be an advocate. Be an advocate, not an ignorant. All right. With that being said, we're gonna get up out of here. Appreciate y'all hanging with us here on the Check Swing Podcast once again here on a Wednesday night. We appreciate y'all hanging with us, man. We went over the time today, like we always do, but y'all stuck through it, and we appreciate y'all for hanging with us. So for Miguel and myself, oh no, hold on, I did that wrong. For myself and for Miguel, who's down in
Baltimore, having big fun.
we gonna get up out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging with us. We talk to y'all next week right here on the Check Swing Podcast. We love y'all for loving us. Peace.
Until we meet again. Until we meet again.